imagine that you're reincarnated, like you die now, and you're like ascending to heaven, and you're like, wow, I live such a good life. I did so many good things. I'm so happy with, the choices that I made. I can't wait to do it all over again. And then you are engulfed in the white light, and you're like, ready for my next go around. And then you come back and you're like, oh, this is weird. I'm drywall. Oh, this is like super fucking cool, dude. Like maybe I'm like in the White House or something, or like, wow, maybe I'm like, gonna be used to so somebody can paint like the Mona Lisa on or something. That's so cool. I'm so happy to live my life as drywall. And then you like see Lexity come in the room and you're like, oh fuck. Like just, okay. All right. Let's do our Lexity coverage, you guys. Let's switch gears. Let's power up. Let's power on. Let's get in the van, mamacitas. So I've covered Lexity before. If you're unfamiliar with Lexity, I wish that was me. Um, Lexity is somebody that was brought to my attention quite a while ago. A niche lol cow at the time. Rigby was the one that was kind of like, hey, have you seen this person crashing out all the time? And I was like, no, that's crazy. Tell me more. Lexity is somebody who Lexity. So there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into this. Okay, so Lexity is a trans woman. Lexity is somebody who did like the fun fact kind of TikTok videos where it was like, fun fact, did you know that like, if you cook an egg at this temperature or whatever, it actually metastasizes into cancer? Or like, stupid like little pop trivia videos or whatever. Um, Lexity was staying with her mom for a period of time, and her mom had pretty severe OCD, and she got into a fight with her mom over her mom like not knocking on her door, and so she you know destroyed the house. And so the mom got a protective order that was eventually dropped, inadvertently dropped. So she does have an aggressive past. So after that, she went to live with like her girlfriend in a trailer park, her girlfriend at the time, and she tried to steal someone's dog. There was like a dog that like was owned by somebody that kind of like walked around the park or whatever. And she was like, "This is mine." For some reason, and then the landlord was like, "You can't just have this person's fucking dog. You're insane." And so she freaked the fuck out about that. And so she does like the true like BPD manic crash outs where she's like screaming at her phone, like level 10 fucking meltdown over the most benign shit that you've ever seen in your entire life. Okay, very reactive. So that's a little bit of early Lexity lore. She has also said really crazy shit before. Like she said that dogs can consent to drinking alcohol because they sometimes eat rotten fruit, which is fermented, which is them consenting to drinking alcohol. So dogs can get drunk. Apparently, it's fine to get dogs drunk. She also has a problem with drinking herself. She has also said that she is the trans Malcolm X, and then she also says the N word, and then lied about saying the N word, even though there's literally a clip that exists of her saying the N word. She's white, by the way. She was homeless, quote unquote, for a while. And she raised $30,000 on GoFundMe to buy a van, and she's been renovating the van into some kind of like DIY drive across the country van. However, she wears no PPE. She uses the wrong equipment. I saw a video of her holding a piece of plywood with her feet and then cutting it with an oscillating saw with no PPE. And when people tell her in her audience, like, dude, you should get some PPE, she says, I'm a dommy mommy. I don't like being told what to do. Not kidding. So that's crazy. A lot of her moderators and a lot of the people that are in her community are underage. And she says that she doesn't care if they're exposed to not safe for work material because they're going to see it anyway. So that is actually crazy. So she got her little van, and it's fun because when she's in the van, you can see the particles of asbestos like floating around and the fiberglass like floating around in the van. It's really cool. So there were two people that she met up with online. One of them was Marcella. The other one was Marcy. Marcella, I interviewed Marcella. It's on my channel. Go watch it. Marcella was somebody who met up with Lexity online. And Marcella was like, you don't have somewhere to stay. You can come and stay at my apartment for a little bit, like take a shower, whatever, because you're living in your van. Lexity got alcohol, drank alcohol, crashed the fuck out, screamed in Marcella's face, got like all up in her shit, was like posturing, all that other just being like totally fucking deranged. She was there for like 3 days and then she bounced. Then there was Marcy. Marcy was another person that Lexity met up with while online. And they went and hung out, and Lexity was like, "Oh my God, do you want to get in my van and go to the beach?" And this girl was like, "No, what the f-?" There's also allegations that she molested this woman. Which I mean, I believe given everything that we've seen so far. And then lastly, there was another person named Flowers and Formaldehyde that posted a video about how she also hung out with Lexity in real life. And while she was drunk, she passed out and woke up, and Lexity was laying with her head in Flower and Formaldehyde's lap, sniffing her crotch. So yeah, that's very not cool. So she just says like crazy shit all the time. She says just like genuinely unhinged, deranged shit all the time. On top of being like an actually dangerous person, I would say. She she, as of late, has been living with this woman. This woman has a house. She lives with this woman, and to my understanding, the woman also has a child, which caused some drama because there is a snark Reddit for her, and in the snark Reddit, they have been like a-logging her, doxing her every time that she goes somewhere new, and somebody called CPS on this woman because this woman had a child and Lexity was staying at the house, which is inappropriate. We don't get into the animal enclosure, guys. That's really crazy. We don't do that. But nonetheless, there was like a whole ordeal about that. Lexity and this girl have broken up and gotten back together several times. They recently got engaged, and that lasted about 24 hours before they broke off the engagement, which is very shocking. Everybody was very surprised to learn this, of course. And then earlier, I think it was on the 7th, it was like literally almost a week ago. It was when we were covering the court document, somebody showed it to me. She was recently arrested for domestic battery on a pregnant person and assaulting a police officer and resisting arrest. So that was like literally last week. She was arrested for these things, and of course she's made public statements about this and said like that literally never happened. She is very gaslight gatekeep girl boss because she quite literally was like, I have never said the N-word, and there are clips of her literally saying it. Like there literally are clips of her saying the N-word. So it's very not good. Very not good. All of it is just a big emotional crash out. Of course, I don't have the ability to go over and retread every single thing that we've covered. If you want more lore, I have covered it before. I have several videos on Lexity. You're welcome to go and see. As of right now, I do not know who the pregnant person was. I think it's the girlfriend that she's staying with right now, I think, but I'm not sure. What were some of the other things that she does? Oh, she tattoos herself on live stream. Like she has like a tattoo gun and she just does like swirls and she pierces her face on live stream without any kind of safety equipment. Like she's gonna get like an infection. She's gonna have to get a limb amputated. Like something is gonna happen to her, unfortunately. And then what else we got? What else we got? Oh, there was a video of her at a onesie sitting on the ground. She adopted a dog. She adopted a Bernedoodle, by the way. Terrible, terrible, absolutely terrible. Anybody that's talking about dogs' capacity to consent, I don't think they should own dogs if that's like a regular topic of discussion. She adopted a dog and she lets the dog quote lick her dry when she gets out of the shower. Infer from that what you will. And the dog is like it lives in the van. The dog like lives and is a Bernedoodle. Bernedoodles are very active dogs, and it lives in the fucking van with her. It's like that dog probably wants to kill itself. I'm not even gonna lie to you right now. That's fucking insane. Why would you get a dog that's very active, a dog breed that's very active, and then like make it live in a van? Like get like a wiener dog or something. They don't need a lot of exercise. She also beatboxes. I'll play that later. I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it. And then the other thing that she said as well is like she thinks that she knows everything, and then when people correct her, she crashes the out. So she said that you cannot get genital herpes from oral herpes, and it's like you literally can. HSV1 and HSV2 are transmissible, right? Like if you have a cold sore and you engage in oral sex, you can give someone genital herpes. Yes, you can. And she was like, source? And it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean, bro? What do you mean, bro? Crazy work. So yeah, she lots of crazy. She's also a professional beatboxer. Allow me to sample some of these sounds for you.
Slay. Oh my God. Slay.
That it's really good. She's really good. Okay, so that is the TLDR quick synopsis of Lexity. If you are thirsting for more Lexity content, like I said, I have plenty of videos going over it. Riley Elena, whose video we are going to be viewing this afternoon, also does Lexity content as well. So if you don't want to watch it from me, you can watch it from her. She does a very good job. She's a little bit more chill than I am. So I really, it's a nice change in tone if you guys want that. So let's go ahead and begin, Mamacitas. Let's begin.
How are you doing today? I hope you're all doing very well. I am wearing this Evanescence t-shirt with Amy Lee's beautiful face on it. I got this shirt forever ago, and I cut the sleeves so that it's got my, little signature off-the-shoulder thing going on, because I do be loving my off-the-shoulder tops. I actually went out last night. I went dancing with some friends. It was very fun. It was so much fun. But I'm so exhausted. Oh my god, I'm so tired. I woke up at like 1 today, which is, I don't know how other people feel about this, but like I really don't like waking up super late in the day. It makes me feel very unproductive, and especially now that I work from home, it makes me feel even worse because like, I wake up at like noon, and I think about how like everyone else I know has probably been working for like 4 or 5 hours already, like normal people, and I just roll out of bed. But whatever, I need to get my sleep schedule fixed up. But yeah, that's what's new. So, it's been a little while since we checked in on our dear friend Anastasia, or Lexity, or as most of you probably know her as Anya-Thena. So those of you that have discovered me through my more recent videos, which, hi, how are you? About 3 months ago now, I did a 2-part video series on this person, Anya-Thena, or Lexity. Great, by the way. In the first video, I was
very, very, very in-depth. Very, very, very in-depth. Very in-depth. She does a really good job. Would recommend her videos, very much so.
We just delved into Anastasia, as a person, how she came to be as a creator, what kind of creator she is, the lore, pretty much, just about that. And in part 2 of that video series, I went really in depth in discussing some of the allegations surrounding Anastasia. In particular, 3 people came forward with allegations, everything from verbal abuse to literally SA. And since then, a lot has transpired. I've been getting a ton of different DMs and comments on my videos asking me to do an update on Lexity, since, it seems that she just continues to descend into her world of, madness and atrociously awful hot takes, yet somehow still continues to grow her platform, which I'll admit absolutely baffles me. And so after I uploaded my Peach Aura video, I think on, what was it, July 3rd? Yes, I think I uploaded it July 3rd. I had started working on an updated video on Lexity. And while I was working on this video, a very disturbing revelation came to light. Because on July 8th, Anastasia was arrested. Yeah. And if you want to know what she was arrested for, you're gonna have to watch this video. So those of you that have not watched part 1 and 2 of my Lexity series, I strongly urge you to go and watch those videos before you watch this one. And look, I understand if you don't want to have to watch 2 other hour-long videos before watching this video. I get that. I mean, I don't fully get that because I am the kind of person that likes to go down rabbit holes, but I understand why everyone doesn't. Part 2 of that video series is especially important. I worked with all 3 of the victims to ensure that their stories were told as accurately and sensitively as possible, and those allegations are going to be relevant again in this video, as well as references to some of Anastasia's previous controversies we covered in part 1 of that series. I will only be briefly touching on these things as they become relevant throughout this video. I will not be going super in depth, and some of that missing context may make this difficult to follow. So while I do understand not wanting to do all of that, that's fine. Just understand that this video, certain parts of this video may be a little confusing if you're not already aware of everything surrounding this individual. And FYI, trigger warnings, there will be brief mentions of SA, coercion, misogyny, racism, transphobia, and alcohol use, so do keep that in mind. And with all that said, let's see what Anastasia has been up to. So, brief introduction.
See what she's up to.
Anastasia, Lexity, Anya-Thena, etc. is a 26-year-old transgender woman and influencer with over 300,000 followers on Instagram and over 150,000.
I will maintain that I think that she's botting. I will maintain that because her inner engagement, her engagement, it does not match her subscriptions. They just don't, right? She should be getting a lot more, a lot more traction with her videos for that many, followers and shit like that. She doesn't get, I think that she barely even breaks 100 people on her live stream. She should be getting a lot more traction.
On TikTok. Her content mostly centers around mental health related subjects, political opinions, and, the occasional crash out live stream or post. She lives in her van, which she raised $30,000 in a GoFundMe to purchase, and is unemployed and relying on social media for her income. So in part 1, when we discussed Anastasia's lore, we left off with Anastasia living in her van and in a polyamorous relationship with a person who she referred to as a sugar mommy.
Hey, sweet pea. So this is my van as it stands right now. Look, I have a floating desk stand. I have a permanent microphone stand. I got a griddle. Yeah, things are going really well. I have a popper right here. I'm playing Red Band, if you can see that. Oh my god, I got a little fluffy thing. Everything's going wonderfully. I have a home tour as well, like an actual house, like a physical house with property. I've been planting trees and starting a garden because I have a partner. Like I'm in a polyamorous relationship with a woman who I love very much, and she owns a house, so I live there. Yeah, I have a lease there even because I needed the proof of address in order to get a new ID. So I have a lease at my partner's house. You know, it's like a month-to-month lease, so whatever. But it's really, really nice to have a sense of security and, you know, like people who love me and dogs that love me because I got my pupper. I hope you're having a wonderful life and a wonderful day and a wonderful everything because you deserve it. Beautiful thing.
And as it turns out, this sugar mommy is a woman named Sarah who is in her mid-30s and even has a child. Sarah is supposedly an accountant who was also a moderator for Anastasia's Twitch live streams, who went by this username I'll put up on the screen. Now, something to note, while we do very much have confirmation of this person's existence, as well as their relationship to Anastasia, we don't technically have proof of them having a child or being an accountant. And the reason why that is because Anastasia has continually recently began filing copyright claims in her Reddit page, getting multiple pieces.
Oh yeah, this is also true. She does this shit as well, where she's she's copyright striking everybody that reposts her content, which again is, is not really like a good choice. Right? It's not really a good choice. It always looks bad on you. Like, unless somebody is like straight ripping your shit, it always looks pretty bad on you. It always looks pretty fucking bad on you if you're the person that's like, copyright striking everything. Right? Like, that looks pretty bad on you. Like, you're trying to like have your cake and eat it too. Like, you want to say all this crazy shit and then you don't want anybody to be mad at you, right? That's really what it is. You know what I mean? It's not good. Not good. Not good. Not good.
Pieces of evidence taken down, including live stream footage and clips and her own content. And as a result, when you look in her Reddit page, a lot of users have had to either transcribe content or post it in a commentary format, which can be difficult and time consuming, and has overall led to less direct evidence being posted. That said though, if you do your own research on this individual, there are many conversations regarding this person, Sarah, and information about her as well as her relationship to Anastasia. And additionally, I do have sources of my own who I've spoken to, who have closely followed Anastasia as well as the progression of their relationship, who have confirmed these details to me. These sources are reputable and they have provided me credible information as well as evidence in the past while working on my video series. Therefore, I do personally believe this information to be credible and accurate. But that said, we can technically only confirm the existence of this individual and their relationship to Anastasia. So just do keep that in mind. These are ultimately my personal opinions based on my sources, and obviously if this information turns out to be false, I will acknowledge that and correct that. But we're not going to be discussing Sarah too much yet, as for now she's just kind of existing in the background. But this individual will become very relevant much later on in this video, so just keep her in the back of your mind for now. So we'll just follow the timeline and pick up where we left off in part 1. So March 27th, she made a post regarding the topic of and once again defending the fact that her behavior is not abusive.
Hey, sweet pea. So I've noticed that users have a tendency to shift the blame of their abuse off of themselves and onto the person they abuse by blaming them for being too emotional. And a lot of people fall for that because people inherently have a bias towards distrusting more emotional people. They think it's immature or lacks composure. And the problem with that is that people often get upset when they've been abused, right? Someone taking advantage of you or neglecting your emotions repeatedly often makes people visibly upset. And someone being visibly upset isn't inherently abusive, right? Like someone being visibly angry or visibly sad around you isn't inherently abusive unless they're doing something manipulative or abusive. Just because you're intimidated or triggered or you have to empathize with the fact that they're hurt doesn't mean that they're manipulating you, right? That's just a normal part of human emotions and human interactions, right? People being angry and people being sad, even visibly so, is valid. Yeah?
Valid.
I love you.
The problem with this is that she's not only attempting to minimize her actions, but is also refusing to acknowledge that she has literally described her own behavior as abusive.
I called it abusive? Okay, it's a behavior, but that doesn't make me an abusive person. Like I made a mistake. Yeah,
True.
sure, okay?
True, yes, I beat the shit out of people, but I'm not abusive, you guys. I'm just an empath. I'm just an empath. I don't know what to say. I just really connect with people. You know what I'm saying? I just really connect with everybody. Like everybody just, it's not me, it's you. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's not me, it's you.
That doesn't make me an abuser. Yeah?
Wow.
Like an abuser is someone who has a pattern of abuse that they repeat, not makes a mistake once and does something that was abusive. Like there's a difference.
She says that someone being upset or visibly upset isn't inherently abusive, which no, it isn't, but how you choose to express that is and has been abusive. And the situation she is likely referencing here is actually the first person who came forward with allegations against Anastasia, named Marcella. Marcella had been following Anastasia online and came across a viral video of Anastasia in a state of desperation and asking for a hug.
Hey, so sometimes when people ask you to hang out, it's because they need someone.
This is my favorite ever. Just It's so funny to me. Like I have like no fucking idea how like it's so fucking cringe, dude. It's so fucking cringe. I don't understand like why people cry on the internet like this. I have no idea. Like this is what you do when you're like 16 and you're like crying on Snapchat and you're like don't want to talk about it. Like it's I don't understand it. I don't get it, you guys. I don't get it at all. I don't get it at all. It makes me very sad. It makes me very upset.
And I have been alone for so goddamn long, everybody just stares at me, and most people don't like me because I'm trans and punk, and nobody wants to be around me. I need someone in my life who will just spend 10 minutes and give me a hug. Ever! Goddamn! Goddamn!
And Marcella offered to be that hug for her, as well as offer her a place to stay for a little while.
Goddamn, goddamn! Please, please, bro, stop! Please, please, I have a wife and kids, bro. Please don't do this, bro. Please.
They ended up having, you know, a more intimate romantic connection, and, you know, unfortunately, that was short-lived, because it was not long before Anastasia revealed her dark side to Marcella, despite Marcella going out of her way to help her. Anastasia had gotten drunk, and she's an alcoholic, by the way, screamed in Marcella's face for hours, cursed at her, called her a whore, did a spitting motion towards her, and by the way, remember that spitting detail, because, believe it or not, that actually might be a pattern of behavior. More on that later. The situation is a lot more than that.
If somebody ever spits on you, that's like go to jail shit. Like there's a reason that when people spit on you, it is escalated to like felonious assault almost always because like you can give people like fucking diseases and shit. Like we should not be doing that. That is not fucking appropriate at all.
Again, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to watch part 1 and 2 of my Lexity series so that you have the full context and understanding of the situation. But following that, Anastasia made multiple videos as well as live streams attempting to defend her behavior by blaming Marcella for her outbursts and describing her own behavior as abusive, saying, quote, "Abusive behavior doesn't make me an abuser."
They call it abusive? Okay, it's a behavior, but that doesn't make me an abusive person. Like I made a mistake. Yeah, sure, okay? That doesn't make me an abuser. Yeah?
I hate to burst your bubble, Anastasia, but, abusive behavior actually does, in fact, make you an abuser, especially when it's a consistent pattern of behavior, which it is. You can be sad, you can be angry, but you can't scream at someone for hours while they're curled up in a fetal position on the floor, begging you to stop screaming at them. You can't call them a whore. You can't spit on them. That is abusive.
She is a
Moving
whore.
on, we have
I
a
mean,
March
wow.
29th post regarding her pronouns.
Hey, sweetie. So asking people's pronouns in a space where it is very publicly displayed is actually kind of rude, and at a certain point becomes oppression of its own. Like, it's not up to me to drop everything I'm doing and explain to you what my pronouns are because you're too lazy to go check my profile. It's very publicly displayed, and if you want to know what my pronouns are, you can go put in a minuscule amount of effort and stop interrupting me while I'm live streaming. Because people often do interrupt me to ask me what my pronouns are, and then they won't even use my pronouns to refer to me, which tells me that they're either just trying to otherize me on purpose, or more likely it's just the thing they've been told they're supposed to do when they see a visibly queer person, which just ends up otherizing me when you're not actually having a conversation with me. You're just going through the motions of what you've been told a conversation with a queer person looks like. And again, it's not up to me to drop everything I'm doing so I can explain my very publicly displayed pronouns. You would be annoyed if you were wearing a name tag and somebody kept asking what your name was anyways. It's rude to ask people on social media what their pronouns are when their pronouns are very publicly displayed. Love you.
Okay, so I
Love
can
you.
definitely imagine that being asked
Love
your pronouns
you.
constantly can, you know, become pretty frustrating and exhausting, you know, having to repeat yourself.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm sorry that people like. I also hate like the oh my god, like let's powwow and let's oh my god, let's talk about let's do our pronouns in a circle, girly pops. It's like like this is the battle that we're going to pick. You know what I mean? That's the battle that we're gonna pick. It's literally, we're such a victim, Andy. It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. I hate it.
Like, I do get that. I do. I think if I was trans and constantly having to restate my pronouns, I'd probably get a bit annoyed too, admittedly. But ultimately, I do think most of the people asking are likely well-intentioned and just want to address you correctly so as to not upset you or trigger you. I mean, just the act of asking, I think, is a decent sign that they're well-intentioned, whereas other people may just assume your pronouns or refer to you with the incorrect pronouns maliciously because they're transphobic. Not to mention, Anastasia is very, 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 very quick to call
Malcolm
people
has all the
transphobic for
IQ of
the
a baked
smallest
potato,
things.
so no, I don't think so.
Malcolm, pronouns, now.
My pronouns are clown self. Thank you so much. Everybody witness, please. Thank you, Rosie, for the 199. It's the same thing too, where like, if you want to make all of your content like trans related and shit like that, which she does, people are going to inevitably ask you questions about that. You know what I mean? like welcome to the internet, I guess.
So, like, even people just mildly disagreeing with her on an opinion she has, like, she will literally label them as transphobic.
When I'm mad, there is zero evidence of that ever. There is zero evidence of that ever. I get angry and I yell. If yelling is violence, then yes, I yell when I'm mad. That is it.
Nice.
I'm not a physical person, nor have I ever been. But if you believe I am, it's because you're transphobic.
And she's also quick to call any person who has made allegations against her as transphobic as well, labeling both the victim and anyone else siding with them as just transphobic. So I do think a part of that demographic of people asking her for her pronouns is likely out of fear of just making a small mistake and being labeled as transphobic and sending her cult followers after them. And yes, I say cult followers because that's exactly what they are, and
True.
That's exactly
and be mindful that most of her community is like little children. They're like teenagers. They're like high school students and shit. It's crazy. It's crazy.
This is a cult. On April 1st, she made a post stating she regrets the tattoos that she did on herself.
Hey, sweet pea. So this is a really hard video for me to make. It's definitely gonna hurt my pride, but all of this is like incredibly childish, and it's like definitely gonna have to go. Like I really have no idea what I was thinking. Just scribbling on my arm and like.
No, I'm not joking. Actually, she bought a tattoo gun and tattooed her own arm in her van, her unsanitary and definitely not sterile van full of fiberglass and wood shavings because she was renovating it.
Hey, sweet pea. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but you can actually just.
And then you can see like the fiber. It looks a little bit better now, but there was like literally like fiberglass like floating around inside of the van and shit. It was fucking crazy. It was fucking crazy. Oh.
Decide what looks good. Nobody has to agree with you. You don't have to ask anyone's permission. You can just do whatever you want.
And here
to
she
your
is,
body.
just
I mean, it's your
tattoo it
body.
away.
Why would
Just
it matter to
tattoo it
anyone else
away.
But you, how it looks. I mean, so don't let anyone else's idea of what a good aesthetic is get in your way of what you think a good aesthetic is. You know, like just go ahead and scribble on yourself. If what you want to scribble, that's what I do at least.
Just scribble on yourself, guys, permanently.
And for a split second, I thought we were finally getting some self-awareness and personal growth. But turns out it was an April Fool's joke. So yeah, that was disappointing. But she posted another reel on the same day. Unfortunately, this one not being an April Fool's joke. And also drawing a bit of criticism. Basically, she was defending the fact that homeless people or unhoused people should be allowed to have pets, specifically dogs.
Hey, sweet pea. So unhoused people definitely deserve to have dogs if they want dogs. Like, not only are dogs faithful companions that will be with you through thick and thin, support you emotionally, and protect your things when you're asleep or just not there, which is exactly the kind of thing a homeless person would need. On top of that, there's not really a reason that a homeless person couldn't give a dog as happy and healthy of a life as any other person.
Also, crazy idea. If you can't feed yourself, you can't feed an animal. I don't think that's appropriate. If it's freezing outside, if you live in New York City and it's like 10 degrees outside and it's snowing and you have an animal, like you have a small animal that's not like an Arctic animal, that's probably not good. Yeah. I think that if you can't care for yourself, you should certainly not have an animal. I don't think that's a crazy take. Maybe it is.
Right, like dogs don't judge success by the same metrics we do, and they have fur, so being cold is less of a problem for them than it is for humans. If the human the dog is with can survive, the dog is almost certainly fine. And houseless people spend a lot of time with their dogs because they don't really have anywhere else to be than with their dog. They have to take their dog.
What does everybody feel about houseless people? Houseless individuals. I hate that word. It makes like snooty white liberals feel better about themselves. Like a houseless individual. Like they're homeless. You can say it. It's okay. Like that's all right. It's kind of like when people are like bigger individuals. It's like some people you can just say fat. Like it's okay. Like it's just like language fluffing. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. No, it's like Like, shut up, dude. Like, you should not have a dog if you can't care for yourself. I would say the same thing for kids. If you can't take care of yourself, you certainly shouldn't have a fucking kid. I don't know why that is like a hot take. I don't know why that's a hot take. I have no idea why that's a hot take. That's like a pretty milquetoast take, I think.
Dog with them everywhere, because where else are they going to leave their dog? And that's a dog's dream, getting to spend all of their time with their person. And on top of that, if we're not giving unhoused people dogs, they're just going to stay in shelters, which is not a better place for the dogs to be. And houseless people definitely deserve the emotional support that comes with having a pet. I love you.
So the first thing I noticed about this is that her primary reason for this take is that homeless people deserve the emotional support that they would get from having a pet, just like anyone else. Which maybe they do, but, the emotional support should not be prioritized over the health and well-being of the dog, right? And comments on this post were pointing out that the main issue with this is that a lot of homeless people are unable to afford the necessary expenses for, having a pet, including food, shelter, immunizations, etc. And look, if you cannot afford to adequately care for a pet, you shouldn't have a pet. Just like if you cannot afford to adequately care for a child, you shouldn't have a child. And FYI, that doesn't...
Bitch, I just said that. Oh my god, I did not pre-watch this. This is crazy. This is crazy.
I mean that just because you're poor or maybe struggling financially that you shouldn't have a child or a pet and that you can't care for them adequately. A lot of people do come from poor families and are still able to have their needs met. But shelter is absolutely necessary for the survival of a pet. I unfortunately have known a few people that have found themselves temporarily homeless at times and, have had to relocate their pets as a result, and because those pets deserve a quality life, and they were unable to provide that, at least for the time being, during the duration of their homelessness. And also, it actually is not true that dogs just don't need to worry about the cold. That depends on a lot of factors such as the dog breed, the size, the amount of fur, and it generally is not recommended for dogs to be outside below temperatures of 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which most winters are much, much, much lower temperatures than that. And also, just something to know, Anastasia does eventually acquire a dog that she named Artemis, who ends up living with her in her van. And this was supposedly a gift from her partner, Sarah, and many people have expressed concern for the dog, not just wondering if its needs are being met, but also the exposure to fiberglass and wood shavings in the van. And the name Artemis is actually a reference to a big piece of Anastasia's lore known as the Apollo dog incident. Quick summary, Anastasia was living with a previous partner and their neighbor's dog had spent a lot of time with them. Anastasia had grown very attached to the dog. She named the dog Apollo. She went to the store to get supplies for the dog.
Hey, sweet pea, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to do if a dog keeps choosing to come over here rather than be at its owner's, because this dog, this big guy right here, really seems to love it here. Now, I can try and get him back to the neighbor's house where he comes from, but he certainly doesn't like going there. Seems a bit skinny. Although he responds better to praise than food, which is, well, I don't know, makes me like him, but is worrisome. If the owners come over here and try and take him back, well, he doesn't want to go with them. He seems to really dislike them, which I don't like. And I'm not trying to steal anyone's dog, nor am I trying to start problems with my neighbors, but I love this little guy, and I would not like to see him hurt, and he seems like it.
She claimed she was told that she could keep the dog, but turns out that wasn't really true. And the dog ended up being rehomed to another family or place that could provide for the dog. And Anastasia had multiple meltdowns as a result of this because she couldn't keep her neighbor's dog.
Hey, sweet pea. So
Yes,
I'm back
this video is legendary, dude. This video is legendary. Her freak out over this dog is crazy. This isn't even her fucking dog. It was a dog that somebody else owned that lived on the same trailer park as her, and the dog walked by her and she was like, "That's mine." It was you're insane. You're literally fucking insane. She literally tried to steal a dog.
The place I used to live, and someone here is trying to gaslight me into thinking that the problem with why I lost the dog was that I didn't make it clear enough that I wanted Apollo in my life. But I got kicked out of my home because I made such a big fuss about wanting my goddamn dog back because they stole my dog from me, because they promised me I could have a dog because this dog kept following me around and asking for love. And you know what, honestly, I don't know why. Maybe it's some sort of intimidating energy I have, which I can understand, but I have to initiate all the relationships in my life. That's fine. That's fine. But this dog for once actually wanted me. It was lovely to feel wanted for once. It was amazing. They stole that from me. I went to the store after they said that this dog was going to be rehomed and got my hopes up, freaking picked out a name to get for the dog, supplies. Came back, dog was nowhere to be seen. They wouldn't let me have the dog back. I spent all night fighting with my partner because they wouldn't let me be mad at the landlord even. They wouldn't even let me be mad about not being allowed to have my dog, right? So, I spent all night fucking working with that, and eventually I stopped fighting with that and went to sleep, and I woke up and I was really mad about not having my goddamn dog!
Goddamn!
That's why I got freaked out, because I screamed like this about wanting my dog back! And I'm not sorry! I want my goddamn dog!
And Artemis is actually the twin sister to Apollo in Greek mythology.
Is this bitch not just so fucking scary, dude? Tell me that you're not terrified right now. I'm shaking in my britches right now. I am so scared. I am terrified of this person. It is so frightening to me that this is a real human being that is walking around outside. That's so crazy to me.
Hence the name choice. More you know. Moving on. April 6th. She posts a reel stating she is happy in her current relationship, aka Sarah.
Hey, sweet pea. So my favorite part of being in a relationship is getting to borrow my partner's clothes, other than mutual affection and support. That shit's overrated. But getting to borrow cute outfits, that's amazing. And this entire outfit was given to me by my girlfriend. And considering it didn't really fit her, it'd be a shame to throw it away when it fits me so well, don't you think? She also did my makeup while she was at it. I hope everyone had a wonderful day.
But as I've already alluded to, this relationship, like most other relationships with Anastasia, does not have great plot development. And speaking of relationships, Anastasia gives this take about avoidant attachment and how it's unhealthy.
Hey, sweet pea, so let me ask you a question. Do you think that the best way to learn something is by avoiding interacting with it entirely? And if you answered no to that question, which is the right answer to that question, then why on earth do you think that the best way to get better at romantic relationships is by avoiding romance entirely? That doesn't make any sense. Humans get better at things that they try to do. And if you don't try to do a romantic relationship, you're not going to get better at it. Just because you can do friendships doesn't mean you can do a romantic relationship. There are different kinds of attachment. And being good at one doesn't mean you're necessarily good at the other, right? Yeah, you need friends in order to have a healthy romantic relationship. But you also probably need a romantic relationship in order to have healthy friendships, unless you're arrow ace. Humans inherently form or romantic connections with the people around them, and if you're just in denial of that, that doesn't actually change whether or not you form those connections. It just means you're unable to work with the connections that you have formed and unable to engage with them healthily. Avoiding attachment isn't healthy. It's not the answer, right? Just trying not to engage in relationships isn't how you heal yourself. I promise you.
So FYI, I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but Anastasia has BPD, or borderline personality disorder. I went over that pretty extensively in my first two videos. It's a very, very, very large aspect of who Anastasia is, not only as a person, but also as a creator. I have BPD myself. I am quite familiar with it, and something about a lot of people with BPD, they have a very, very, very strong fear of abandonment. And Anastasia herself has also stated that she has a strong fear of abandonment, hence why she's very quick to lash out in her relationships. And at one point, she even described someone pushing her away as crossing a boundary, which, That's not
My boundary is that you have to give me money or I'm literally going to redacted you. My boundary is you pay me. That's my boundary. And if you break that boundary, you're an abusive asshole. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. Everybody else is too scared to live their truth, but I'm not. I'm not afraid to live my truth, guys.
not a boundary. That's not a boundary. So I'm very much not surprised that she feels so strongly about avoidant attachment. Something else I want to mention though, she is absolutely wrong about saying you need a romantic relationship in order to have healthy platonic relationships unless you're aro ace. That is objectively not true. And you know, as someone who has chosen to avoid relationships altogether for like little over 2.5 years now, I have many healthy platonic friendships and relationships in my life that are very much fulfilling and meaningful. And I think this mindset of hers is very much rooted in her strong fear of abandonment as a result of her BPD. Also, and look,
Malcolm has all the
this may be
IQ
kind
of a
of an
baked potato, so no, I don't think so.
Kay King.
Oh my goodness. My boundary. I feel so seen. Thank you so much, Rose Weaver. Everybody witness, please. Beautiful. That's so amazing. Thank you.
unfavorable take. But I don't necessarily think it's entirely bad if someone has an avoidant attachment style. I think it's dependent on certain factors, right? As a parent, for instance, an avoidant attachment style would negatively impact the emotional development of their child as they reject closeness and intimacy, and therefore that child will be unfulfilled in many ways. But I mean, if we are just talking about individuals who happen to have an avoidant attachment,
my boundary is just like you always have to agree with me and I'm always right. That's my boundary. That's my boundary. Do you like that? I like that.
Style, I don't think intimacy is a requirement for healthy relationships. Then again, I am heavily biased as someone with an avoidant attachment style, hence why I don't really seek out relationships, so I'm honestly probably very wrong for that take. I'm honestly probably wrong about that. Tell me what your guys' thoughts are on that in the comments. I would love to hear your input. So then we get a bit of a life update from Anastasia.
Okay, so I thought I'd give everyone an update on what's going on in my life. I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma with my partner, who I've been dating for 2 months. I'm parked outside of our home right now, her house, where I have drawers and I'm welcome anytime I would like to be. However, I spend a lot more time in my van because this is my home. I'm comfortable here. I have all my things here, and I spend a lot of time with my dog in my van because I want her to be comfortable here, so that no matter where we
Malcolm
go,
has
when I
all
start
the
traveling again
IQ of
after
a
she
baked potato, so
Oh no,
I
my
don't
boundaries,
think so.
bro. My
Buong
boundaries,
tanto
bro.
prosa wundri.
Oh my god, everybody witness, please. And you also made Arlette cuss. This is very brave. This is very brave of Arlette. I love that for her. Yeah, I think often. It was literally like yesterday, but you know, I think about it all the time now. It's like it's my new mantra in life. It's my new hyperfixation, okay? When Poppy was like, I should really just donate to Malcolm to make him upset. Don't, guys. Don't. Do not give me money. That's so dude, I would be owned so fucking hard if people like donated money to me. Oh my god, dude, that would be so crazy. Like, don't do that. That would make me really upset. I would be so fucking owned. I would be owned if like Poppy donated to me. I'd be just fucking owned.
gets all of her shots, she has a place to feel comfortable and safe and at home, even if we're very far away from my house. I love her very much, my girlfriend, I mean, and my dog, and my life is really coming together, and I am doing amazingly, both emotionally and in every other way imaginable, in fact, actually. I hope you're feeling fantastic. Everything's looking up, except for, like, the government. Just terrifying, but we'll deal with that.
So we find out Anastasia is now in Oklahoma. She's still living out of her van and also parked outside of her partner's home that she has access to. So, you know, that's good, I guess. FYI, though, one of my sources did tell me that Anastasia is supposedly not allowed in the home during the day while her partner is at work, which is interesting. Everyone, you know, everyone's entitled to their privacy. I mean, it is her partner's home, right? Don't get me wrong. But I feel like your partner is the one person you should be able to trust in your home when you're not there. So if that boundary is actually true, I do wonder why. I will say Anastasia has been known to break things when she is angry, including a lamp that she broke when she was at Marcella's home. She also punched holes in the wall of her mother's home, which her mother ended up
A bad day to be drywall. Imagine that you're reincarnated. Like you die right now, and you're like ascending to heaven, and you're like, wow, I live such a good life. I did so many good things. I'm so happy with, you know, the choices that I made. I can't wait to do it all over again. And then you are engulfed in the white light and you're like, ready for my next go around. And then you come back and you're like, oh, this is weird. I'm drywall. Oh, this is like super fucking cool, dude. Like maybe I'm like in the White House or something, or like, wow, maybe I'm like, you know, going to be used so somebody can paint like the Mona Lisa on or something. That's so cool. I'm so happy to live my life as drywall. And then you like see Lexity come in the room and you're like, oh, fuck. Like, no! Terrible day to be a drywall. Terrible day to be a drywall. Drywall hates to see Lexity coming. She's very, She's very Jalen coded. I'll say that. I'll say that. Like, I think that we have like a lot of things like in common here. We say slurs, we punch holes in the drywall, we're emotionally manipulative. I think that we're very Jalen coded, guys. Very, very Jalen coded.
Kicking her out as a result, so perhaps it has something to do with that. Obviously, that's just speculation, just my opinion, just my guess. Then on April 9th, she posted a reel which I found extremely ironic and hypocritical.
Hey, sweet pea. So no means no, all of the time. You enjoying whatever you're doing, you should listen to my words, actually. Because I laugh when I'm uncomfortable. So just because I'm laughing doesn't mean I actually am enjoying whatever you're doing. And just because you think whatever you're doing is funny doesn't mean I do. You should listen to my words. No means no.
It's very interesting to me that Anastasia is able to recognize that body language signals are important in regards to consent. Because she very much did not feel that way when it came to Marcy and Haley, the two people who alleged that they were s8'd by Anastasia. And in both instances, Anastasia blatantly ignored their body language signals when making sexual advances onto them, both of which Anastasia has admitted to. And I'm not the only.
I just, like, if you go in to kiss somebody and they're like, ah! Like, you should probably, like, not, you should probably be able to read that. Like, maybe that's very ableist of me to say that I think that people should be able to read that cue. But if you're like, oh my God, can I hold your hand? And you're kind of like trying to hold hands and they're like they probably don't want to hold your hand. I think that's kind of a given, but
person that picked up on that, because the top comment with over 458 likes states, take your own advice. And by the way,
True.
Anastasia heavily moderates her social media, especially following my 2 videos on her. So most of the comments you will see on those posts are positive, and she does routinely delete comments throughout her post. But, don't worry, because I make sure to take screenshots of all of the negative comments that slip through the cracks. And to expand upon this, on April 12th, she gives a take stating that if someone touches her and she touches them back, it's not a...
Hey, sweet pea. So I've experienced a lot of cis women who think that they get to experiment with me and it's not cheating and it's not sexual. It is.
Oh, I totally forgot about this too. She like hates cis women, but she actually only quests after cis women. Like she does not. She's like, cis women are evil, cis women are oppressors, cis women are violent, cis women are that, cis women are, everything that's bad in the world, and they're the reason for all of my suffering, and blah, 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 blah. Cis women suck, but conveniently, that's the only demographic of people that we, like, date or quest after. I find that to be very interesting, but nonetheless.
And if you grab my butt or my boobs, me reciprocating, that's actually, like, kind of normal. That's a normal human interaction. If you don't want me to touch you, don't touch me. And if you touch me first...
Oh my God. Courtney would go crazy over this implied consent take, bro. Crazy.
I don't have to ask, right?
Well, I don't know. If somebody gives you a handshake and you're like, clearance to slap your ass, like, probably not. Probably not.
Do I? Because, you didn't ask.
And here she's making a specific reference to Marcy, again, one of the 3 individuals who came forward with allegations against Anastasia. And in this instance, Anastasia had groped Marcy without asking them for their consent. After Anastasia was confronted, she tried to claim that Marcy touched her first, which I do not...
I touched your back, therefore I have free reign over your body. Like, what is this fucking take, bro?
...believe based on my own research as well as my conversations with Marcy. But also... I think Anastasia is very much misunderstanding consent here. Because just because someone may not ask you for consent, doesn't mean you don't have to ask for their consent, right? Like, of course, if someone violates your consent, 100% that's wrong, that's not okay, but that doesn't give you a pass to then violate their consent, And I want to quickly differentiate between this scenario and, reactive abuse, as I think a lot of people are going to compare it to that, and reactive abuse is not the same as choosing to violate someone's consent because, they did it first. And to be completely honest, I have difficulty, wrapping my head around the concept of someone SAing me and then having the thought, well, now I get to SA them. Look, I don't want to generalize SA victims, right?
Retaliatory rape. What the fuck, dude?
Right? There's no such thing as a perfect victim, and even if you're an imperfect victim, you are still a victim. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm not saying it can't happen. But I've known many SA victims. I have firsthand experience myself, and I'll just say, I have never seen that reaction to SA before. I've seen there's flight or...
Do you think that this is what Gilded Poo was talking about when he said, retaliatory rape? Do you think this is what he was talking about? This is crazy.
Fight, there's freezing or tonic immobility, but SAing someone because they SA'd you, that, that is very new to me. I just wouldn't have that instinct. I don't know. I don't know. I just fighting SA with SA, again, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It's just very new to me. And especially in this instance where, let's, be honest, Anastasia obviously is not the victim.
Self-defense rape. That's what it was. It was self-defense rape. Maybe that's what he was talking about. Oh my God. Does Gilded Poo watch Lexity content? Holy shit, that's crazy, dude.
Right? So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts because I don't know. I don't even know what to think of that. But the comments did not hesitate to point out the irony in this statement, as they made sure to remind Anastasia as well as her cult followers that she has multiple and s8i allegations. Also, by the way, Anastasia really emphasizes the fact that, cis women have assaulted her, but Marcy is actually non-binary and goes by they, them pronouns, which
NB Mizia in my good Christian Minecraft server. Holy fuck, guys.
to this day, Anastasia refuses to acknowledge and still continues to refer to Marcy by she, her pronouns. Because obviously if Anastasia acknowledges this, then it completely dismantles her, cis women make false allegations against me because I'm trans and all trans people are deemed as predators by cis people argument. But somehow this wasn't enough because on the same day, she posted another reel regarding the topic of empathy.
Hey, Sweet Pea. So real empathy means understanding everyone's emotions and thought processes, even and especially the people you don't like. Just deciding someone is evil and dismissing their thought process as bad or trying to hurt the world is lacking empathy, okay? People don't just do things to hurt the world. That's not a thought process that makes any sense. And even the worst things are done with a human thought process because they're done by humans. And if you refuse to understand that, you're only doing yourself a disservice. I'm not saying you have to condone everyone's actions, right? Obviously, some actions are terrible and should be condemned. But if you refuse to understand how those actions came about and why people do terrible things, it becomes incredibly difficult and even impossible to address those terrible things and stop them from happening in the future, right? You need to be able to empathize with people who do terrible things in order to help people not ever do those things again, yeah? And deciding people are just evil and dismissing them as trying to hurt the world is lacking empathy and it's unhelpful. I love you so much.
And these comments made damn sure to remind Anastasia of her extreme lack of empathy towards others, with one comment stating, shocking that you think you can speak on what empathy is after your exes had described what you've done to them. Screaming at someone so loud her ears rang while she pleaded you to stop shows a remarkable lack of empathy. Very well said. April 13th, she states she had to get a new phone because someone apparently doxed her.
Hey, Sweet Pea. So check out this bracelet I made for my dog's first collar. She outgrew it, so I cut it a little bit shorter and then I added the studs. It's adorable. Plus, it's a nice little keepsake to remember her puppyhood, don't you think? I had to get a new phone number recently because somebody gave away my old phone number on the internet. And when you have a platform like I do, it's not exactly wonderful to get doxed, you know? So try not to sweat the small stuff, even the stuff that's not so small, like harassment, but whatever.
FYI, regardless of how bad of an individual someone is, that is not an excuse to dox someone. Doxing is never okay and absolutely illegal. And, things like this unfortunately give people like Lexity more ammunition against her critics and therefore makes it easier to discredit them. So if we could not stoop to illegal means and instead hold her accountable by reasonable means, such as things like this video, that would be spectacular. On April 14th, she turned 26. Top comment makes sure to remind her that everyone is finding out about her SA and allegations. And by the way, there's a reason why I'm making it a point to mention all of these comments on her post. I read something in Anastasia's Reddit page recently where a person was expressing their frustration over the fact that Anastasia's platform has continued to grow, and she's been completely immune to cancellation regardless of her actions. And I very much understand where they're—
I don't think she's immune from cancellation or whatever the fuck. I truthfully think that she's botting all of her engagement. And she's doing that thing where she, curates her comment section, like very particularly, where she'll like filter out. It's like the same way where it's like, I guess you could make the argument that Lily Orchard is quote unquote uncancelable, right? But it's mostly, if not all, because like it's because she curates her community like so intentionally, where she deletes all the negative comments and she only keeps positive comments and blah blah blah, right? Like,
they're coming from, because they aren't wrong. Anya's platform has only continued to grow since my 2 videos, but that doesn't mean that people aren't aware. Anastasia is working overtime to moderate her social media so that none of this information gets further exposure. But
that's what I just said.
Many comments have and still continue to slip through the cracks, getting anywhere from hundreds to even thousands of likes each. So my point is, don't be discouraged. It's a gradual process, but I very much believe she will reap what she sows soon. It's only a matter of time, and I will continue to make posts and videos calling out Anastasia. Look, I rarely call for canceling or deplatforming on my channel. I do have a lot of opinions. I criticize people, obviously, but I do believe in personal growth. I do believe people can redeem themselves from their mistakes most of the time. A few people seem to think that just because I talk about or cover someone on my channel, that means I'm trying to cancel them. Someone got mad at my Peach Aura video saying, like, that I was trying to cancel her and she's not, bad enough to need to be canceled, and they were comparing her to Lexity and like saying she's not a horrific abuser like Lexity, which is odd because I never said that I was trying to cancel Peach Aura. Honestly, that's not really my call, as most of her more egregious actions don't affect me, as I'm not part of the group of people that those actions were targeting. But Anastasia is the one person who I have explicitly stated needs to be deplatformed, needs to be canceled. She has and continues to weaponize her platform, spreading extremely harmful and dangerous narratives about abuse and abuse victims, not to mention—
Yeah, like part of it, so like I think that deplatforming is kind of a double-edged sword for multiple different reasons. I think that like generally speaking, deplatforming is usually bad, only because people are usually acting worse in private than they are in public. It's like a double-edged sword because people behave better in public than they do in private. generally speaking. So if you have somebody who's being like absolutely fucking batshit insane in public, that's actually kind of a good thing because then it's out in the open. People can see it. It's public, right? People can look and say, "Oh wow, this person is acting deranged." When those people are pushed into more insular communities, they're usually acting worse, and there's like no transparency. There's like no, peering into the window to see what's actually going on. It's just assumed that it's as it was, but most of the time it's worse, right? But also within the same vein, I think that it's important that like people lose access to the communities that they target. So Onision, for example, is one of the people that I think absolutely need to be deplatformed because Onision, solicited all of the people that he like essentially groomed into like his harem of women on the internet. And even in regard to like spreading misinformation, I would say that that's another pretty reasonable thing to like I would say deplatform people over. That's why there's like a lot of TOS regulations around like spreading false information about like vaccines or excuse me, or like flat earth shit, 5G tower conspiracies and shit like that. Like there are TOS regulations around that because it is bad to spread misinformation. And so in Lexity's case, I don't know because I think it's actually good that she's acting this deranged in public because people can see it. And people can judge it, and people can say, "Wow, this person's crazy," and people can like spread awareness about it, right? I think that that's kind of important. But also at the same time, it's true she does spread a lot of misinformation, and she is finding and soliciting people that she does later go on to allegedly assault in her community online. And so that is also something to consider as well. So like, is there a right answer? I don't know. I guess it depends on how you look at it. But I for the most part would agree that I think that she is somebody that I would look at as an example of somebody that does need to be deplatformed. I would agree with that generally speaking. But I mean, you can get to the nitty gritty about it and this and that and the other thing. But generally speaking, if people are spreading misinformation, one, and then using their online platform to specifically curate like quote unquote victims, yeah, I think that those are the kinds of people that should be kept offline, certainly. Yeah, yeah. I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Using her platform to take advantage of more and more people, she further stigmatizes BPD and more recently has committed very heinous acts. And until that happens, until she is deplatformed, I will.
And I would also say that people that are doing illegal shit should probably be deplatformed as well. Like if somebody is like a serial killer, I don't really know if we should have like Jeffrey Dahmer's YouTube channel. I don't know if we should do that. I don't know if that's like a good idea. Or like, when Ruby Frankie, if she ever gets out of prison, should we let her have her YouTube channel back? I think it's crazy that Gypsy Rose Blanchard is allowed to be on the internet. Considering her crimes, I obviously, empathy because Gypsy Rose Blanchard, like, let's all be real. We totally would have killed our mom too if we were Gypsy Rose Blanchard. We would totally do it. Like, let's not pretend, you guys. Like, I think everybody's in unison and lockstep with that one. But like, given her crimes and that the person that she bet to help kill her mom was solicited online, I don't know. I think that like, when criminality, like actual criminality is involved, I think that's another kind of argument for deplatforming as well. But that's just my opinion.
Will continue to talk about this on my channel because this is not okay. This is not acceptable. Okay, so April 17th, this one is slightly confusing. She posts this reel that she disabled her comments on, which she does pretty frequently, by the way.
s8i, have you ever asked someone a question that they're incapable of answering, and because they're incapable of answering, they get mad at you as if it's your fault? And the reason they're really getting mad is because the question is something that's integral to their identity, something that they consider deeply morally important, or they've integrated into their very identity. Oftentimes something religious, and you asking why they believe it or the way that belief works and functions makes them upset because they don't know themselves, and they have to confront the fact that they don't know themselves when a deeply held moral belief that they believe in is questioned. And just because I question your moral beliefs doesn't mean I disagree with them, actually. Maybe I just want to understand them. Did you ever think about that? Because I do. I want to understand all things. And because I'm asking doesn't mean I immediately disbelieve it. It means I'm asking. I love you.
Which at first it's like, okay, so what's the context here? Well, apparently the context is that Anastasia had made a video regarding cultural appropriation, specifically asking why white people can't participate in Native American traditions and cultural practices. Really? Really? Seriously?
What, bro?
Really? Are you kidding? Sweet pea, are you kidding me? And when people attempted to educate her, it seems she didn't like that very much, hence why she followed with this reel, stating people are incapable of answering her questions, which she disabled comments.
What was this?
Hence why she...
this is from the Snark subreddit. It says, cultural practice videos, excuses on her Insta. She made a video in her weird, vague, not vague style about how it's not her fault if she asks questions about people are incapable of answering. If the comments are gold. I personally found people's answers very capable. She just couldn't handle them, and now she's doubling down. I can't post the video screenshots because I'm at work, but check it out. It's so embarrassing. Based.
Followed with this reel, stating people are incapable of answering her questions, which she disabled comments on. So, not getting the response you want that validates your point of view isn't reflective of an incapability to answer your questions. It just means you're wrong. And by the way, stuff like this is not new with Anastasia, unfortunately. She not only has said the N-word on live stream, but even called herself the trans Malcolm X. The trans Malcolm X.
She did say this.
Let's sue. Are you serious? Let's sue. Do this shit. If you love me, you will go over there and you will correct everything they're saying and you'll be nice. Like, do you think I'm afraid of the cops? First of all, I'm not afraid of the cops, even if I did do something. And also, I didn't do anything. Elaborate on the trans Malcolm X. You're generally confused. Oh, because I said that because people keep being like, oh, I agree with what you're saying, but I don't like the way you're saying it.
Malcolm has all the IQ of a baked potato, so no, I don't think so.
Banger comment.
Lex, I sweet bear. Do you like my dream catcher?
Dude, banger comment. Everybody witness, please. Okay, Elizabeth Warren, calm down, bro. Calm down, bro. Also, the trans Malcolm X. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like, I think that is kind of like a thing that happened a lot to Malcolm X, where people were like, oh, I mean, like, you know, I like what Malcolm X says, but like, couldn't you be like a little bit more civil about it? And it's like, that's what I mean when I say like the trans Malcolm X.
That's literally not, that's quite literally ahistorical. The other thing is that, Lexity talks a lot about like leftist shit or whatever, but she, is too stupid to understand it. And I find that to be quite comical. I think that my favorite genre of person is people that speak authoritatively on things and they don't really know a lot about it. I think that that's actually really fucking funny. So when she was like, you know, everybody really liked Malcolm X, but they needed him to relax. People actually really didn't like Malcolm X at all. Even when he moderated his politics after he went on the Hajj. Yeah. People really didn't like Malcolm X on every side of the aisle. Mind you, he was assassinated by like the Muslim Brotherhood. Like he was not well liked regardless. It wasn't like, wow, this is a really strong message, but I wish that we could be a little bit more respectful about it. Everybody was like, this guy's crazy. That's not what happened.
I mean, like,
And in the caption of this video, she also states that she will not apologize for epistemology, which my dumbass honestly thought was
what?
In the caption of this video, she also states that she will not apologize.
I don't ask questions in bad faith, nor do I ask questions that you shouldn't be able to answer. If you understand your beliefs, I will not apologize for epistemology. What did she think epistemology means, bro?
For epistemology, which my dumbass honestly thought was a made-up word, but it actually isn't. Epistemology is the philosophical study of the nature, origin, and limits of human knowledge. Again, I'm gonna say it. She sounds like a f***ing cult leader. She sounds like a cult leader. She really does. Like, who the hell?
Ziz who, you guys? Zizians who? Question mark? Zizians who?
Questions why they can't participate in cultural appropriation and then says, I won't apologize for epistemology. Someone with a major superiority and God complex. That's who says that shit. So April 21st, following...
Again, I think that this is my opinion. This is my opinion. Okay. Disclaimer ad infinitum. This is just my opinion. I think that a lot of people are kind of missed in NPD diagnoses, because I think that like truly narcissistic individual people, and I mean like actual narcissists, not like colloquially, but like diagnostically narcissists. I think that those people are smart enough and manipulative enough intentionally to present in a certain way to avoid that diagnosis altogether. Because I noticed that a lot of the people that, you know, kind of possess these character traits, they usually have a BPD diagnosis. And there is, you know, a decent kind of comorbidity between a lot of the symptoms of BPD and NPD. But I think that the people that are truly narcissistic in the diagnostic sense, I think that they are smart enough and cunning enough and evil enough, if you will, to present in a way where they intentionally like skew their presentation so they don't get diagnosed with that. I think that's interesting. I think that's really interesting. Yeah, I think it's like a common occurrence. It's very, very odd to me.
Following part 2 of my video, like just 5 days later, Anastasia drops an absolute bombshell of a take in the video. I'm not even going to explain it. I'm just going to play it.
Hey, s8i, so you're not going to like this take, but people can absolutely consent to sex. I was an alcoholic.
Well, there is nuance here. Okay, like obviously, if you've had a few bevs or whatever, and you're wanting to get down, that's fine. But yeah, like if somebody is like blacked out and like can't function, Yeah, they probably can't. No, probably not, because may he who is without sin cast the first stone. I've had a few bevs and gotten a little rowdy. Who among us hasn't? You know what I mean? But like there's a big difference between somebody who's like fucking blackout drunk and somebody that had like two cocktails at dinner. There's kind of a big difference here, right?
For a long time, I was drunk every single day for like 3 years. I had a lot of sex during that time, and it wasn't all coercive. I knew what I was doing. And it is not up to other people to determine how drunk I am when they also might be intoxicated, and when I might be concealing how intoxicated I am. Yeah? You need to be very, very drunk for you to not be able to consent. Like, can't really walk or talk straight, right? Like, the kind of drunk where it is impossible.
Somebody who's an alcoholic should know that there's quite a big gap between these things, especially like I can only speak for myself, but I think that I speak generally when I say this. There are certainly people that are very sober drunks, okay? Like, there are people that are pretty fucked up, and you wouldn't be able to tell. These are also known as functional alcoholics, okay? These are also known as functional alcoholics. There are people that go to work fucking hammered, and nobody knows. Nobody knows because they're good at concealing how drunk they are, right? Like, yeah, somebody can be absolutely fucking tanked and present as sober. Sometimes it can be hard to tell if people are drunk. Yeah, especially if they're like true alcoholics. This is true.
Possible for you to conceal how drunk you are. And at that point, yeah, you can't really consent to sex. But there is a large space in between sober and blackout drunk where you are very able to consent and even likely to try to consent just because alcohol makes people. Yeah, alcoholics can absolutely consent to sex, and they regularly do.
And as I'm sure you can imagine, the backlash was swift and heavy. I actually got multiple.
There is nuance here. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty. I don't want to debate bro this, obviously. But like there is nuance here where there are certainly people who, can consume alcohol and consent and know what they're doing and not have an issue with it and whatever the fuck. That certainly does happen. But let's keep this in mind that like when she's presenting this information, this is off of the back of the flowers and formaldehyde situation where the girl that she was like making passes on and shit, that girl was blackout drunk. Like, like, sorry, somebody who is blacked out cannot consent. That is not happening. That's not happening, dude.
DMs regarding this very specific reel, as I had just dropped my video regarding the allegations. And Anastasia very quickly disabled comments on this reel, but thankfully a Redditor did a screen recording of some of the comments beforehand, so shout out to the Lexity subreddit. Now, if you're—
No, functional alcoholics are people that are alcoholics, but they can still do their shit. So people that have jobs, people that go to work, maintain like healthy relationships with people. It's people that are alcoholics, but it does not impact their functionality at all.
If you're not already familiar with Lexity and your introduction to her is this video, you may be thinking, but wait, people can SA people though, right? And you may also be thinking, well, I've gotten drunk and had consensual with people before. What's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that this is a very gross and deliberate misrepresentation of what actually took place between Anastasia and Haley, which is—
Oh my god, dude, I swear, you guys have to believe me. I did not pre-watch this. I swear to God. Me and Riley are literally twinsies. We're literally twinsies. We're mind melting. We should start a podcast. Oh my god, I love her.
The girl that
I'll even get bangs, you guys. I'll get bangs.
Anastasia is specifically referencing here. Haley is a woman that once again had met Anastasia through social media and offered her a place to stay for a little bit. And upon arriving to Haley's home, Haley had been drinking prior. Nothing wrong with that. It's her home, and she is above the legal drinking age. She can drink if she wants to. And Anastasia was aware of this, and as a result, chose to make advances onto Haley, including groping her and sniffing her crotch. And Haley had woken up out of a blackout state to find Anastasia—
Diabolical statement in and of itself. Like that's enough to like just make me want to like go cuckoo bananas. That's so fucking disgusting, dude.
Anastasia doing these things, and Anastasia would later also attempt to kiss Haley. And when Anastasia finally left, Haley had messaged her after the fact, pretending to be friendly in order to get Anastasia to open up a little bit about what had taken place, and also to find out if other things took place that Haley was not aware of when she was in a blackout state. And Anastasia ended up admitting to groping her and making advances onto her, stating that she knew she was drunk, but she didn't know how drunk and didn't—
Thanks for giving me the rundown. My memory, don't remember. LOL, drunkenness. Yeah, sorry I did anything. I honestly didn't think you were drunk. When stuff started, I was very unclear what the boundaries were, let alone if I was crossing one.
Know what the boundaries were. And once Anastasia had confirmed what happened, Haley came forward publicly. And in typical Darvo Anastasia fashion, she attempted to reverse the roles, claiming that Haley got drunk and S8'd her. Again, there's a lot more to that.
I think that you assaulted me. Actually, checkmate. I think that was me. I'm rubber. Or excuse me, you're rubber, or no, I have it backwards. I'm rubber, you're glue. Everything that you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. Fuck you, bitch. What a great comeback.
Story, part 2, watch my video series. Seriously, there's a whole lot more there, but that's just a very, very brief summary. But yet she only ever claims that she was S8 after Haley came forward with her allegations, and she did the same thing with Marcy as well. She claims that there's a large space between being sober and blackout where you're still able to consent to sex even if you're intoxicated. First of all, Haley was blackout drunk, but even if she wasn't and she was just mildly drunk, you still admitted to knowing she was drunk and not knowing what the boundaries were. Look, I know there's a little bit of nuance when it comes to alcohol and right? Like a lot of people, couples especially, drink and have intimate relations. You know, people go out to bars and clubs and they drink and they go home with people and become intimate consensually. Like, I'm not saying that you can never consent to intimate relationships just because you drink, but there's a stark difference between a couple with long established boundaries having some drinks and being intimate, and Anastasia meeting someone for the first time after talking to them through social media, going to their house, seeing they're in a drunken state, and still choosing to make advances onto them while they're blacked out, not knowing what the boundaries were. That is predatory. And Anastasia was sober, by the way. She was sober. And not to mention, at this time, Marcella and Marcy had already come forward publicly with allegations.
Riley does go a little heavy on the censoring. I agree. She does go a little heavy on the censoring, but that's okay. We respect all of our queens.
Against her. And this interaction between her and Haley took place just a couple weeks following those allegations. Do you know what the very, very last thing I would be doing after I had multiple and SA allegations made against me would be? Coming onto a drunk girl that I just met and not knowing what the boundaries were. At that point, like, even if that person had like just a sip of alcohol, whether they were like mildly drunk or blackout drunk, I wouldn't be laying a finger on that.
Great point. Like, really brave take, you guys. If you ever find yourself in a situation, and I pray to God that you don't, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you have multiple rape allegations against you, the bar is so embarrassingly low. It is incredible. It is like a talent to not be able to surpass it, right? Like, you have been accused of rape. The next logical step is don't rape. Like, literally, that's quite literally all you have to do is like, don't do it again. Like, that's crazy. If somebody was like, dude, you know, I'm accusing you of leaking DMs. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to leak DMs even harder now. It's like, you just got accused of this. Why would you do it again? I don't understand. It's crazy.
That person. I would be on opposite sides of the couch. Yet here Anastasia is in a picture with Haley all over her. And yet Anastasia deemed it okay to cross that boundary and then later admit to it over text, and then uses the Darvo method to reverse the roles against Haley. So yeah, with that context, you can now see why this post sparked a lot of controversy and outrage. And she doubled down on this, and these posts are still publicly available with disabled comments. She is so incredibly spiteful that she will continue to dig her own grave publicly and just silence people who disagree with her, instead of doing what most people would do in that situation and just delete the post, which I think is pretty revealing.
Or just like stop fucking talking about it. That's another thing. Like, again, we must learn, like, it is a tried and true method that if you're like in hot water, you stop incriminating yourself. That's why everybody says, like, don't talk to the cops. Because everything that you say is added to the rapport of things that you've already said, and then they're compared against each other, and you fuck yourself. Like, the safest option, if you're ever in trouble, is just like, shut the fuck up for a little bit, get your ducks in a row, collect your thoughts, and then go from there. Like, I don't understand, like, this is, again, I'm not saying, like, I don't even know how to phrase this appropriately. Like, it's actually incredibly easy. Like, the two steps here are, like, stop talking about it and then don't do it again. Whatever it is. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. But we can't do it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. I don't understand it at all.
Of the type of person that Anastasia is. April 30th, she posts another, like, super odd take.
Hey, Sweet Pea, so if you think that gender and sex are the same thing, why do you think that it is normal to color code your children so that strangers know what their genders look like? You know, in my system, one where gender and sex are separate things, dressing your children doesn't let strangers know what their genders look like, because that's a weird thing for you to want strangers.
I hate this conflation, one, because everybody that makes this argument sounds like a fucking pervert. But also, like, sex and gender are very highly correlated. Because what is gender other than sociological extrapolations of biological sex? Gender are roles and expectations that are associated with characteristics related to biological sex. Like, obviously, you see a woman and you're not just like, oh my God, I bet her ovaries are so fertile right now. Like, wow. I bet that she has wonderfully healthy fallopian tubes. That's not what you're thinking. You're associating gendered characteristics that are associated to the female sex and being like, oh, so this woman has like a great rack. Like, that's what you're doing. You're not like, wow, she's so ripe for childbearing. That's not what you're doing. That's not what you're doing. Like, if you see somebody in a dress, you're not like, vagina! You're like, oh, that's a woman. It's because these two things are correlated. They're like, gender like lays loosely on top of the category of sex, okay? It lays loosely on top of it. We draw these correlations in our mind. It's called relational frame theory. Google it. Google it. Look it up. It's called relational frame theory. You're welcome.
Strangers to know about your children. Yeah?
Okay, so I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and say I actually don't think that parents dress their children in certain colors to signal to other people what genitals they have. I do understand she's trying to make the point that gender and sex are not the same. I get that, but I just feel as though this was a very odd way to make that point.
One's in chat. If your fallopian tubes are healthy, I'm just doing a vibe check. How are everybody's fallopian tubes today? How are we? I'm just curious.
And I'm not the only person who felt that way, because if you read the comments, a lot of people were also calling her out for this weird take. One comment with 117 likes.
I swear to God, I did not watch this video. I did not pre-watch this. I swear to fucking God. Dead ass. If you frame this argument like this, people think that you're a fucking pervert. I just said that. We are literally sharing the brain cell, Riley and I. We have one brain cell that we pass back and forth. I feel so seen right now. Wow.
Reads, normal people don't think about children's lower regions at all. And another says, Pookie, this is a really odd take, but I still love you. Hey, Pookie, she's an abuser and a predator.
Pookie.
Wake up. Another comment with 109 likes reads, imagine comparing a little girl wearing pink to wanting strangers to know what it looks like downstairs. Another one, we don't imagine or think about children's lower regions. I'm not arguing about your point, but when there's children, I'm not thinking about private parts. Don't get me wrong, there were people agreeing with Anastasia as always, because again, this is a cult, but a lot of the top comments, or a lot of the top like comments, were disagreeing with her. I also did take a look at the subreddit to see their responses, and they also pointed out how bizarre this was. One comment sarcastically states, I'll dress my child in yellow from now on so that they are safe from P3DOs. Exactly. Like, she's trying to paint this as parents dressing their kids
P3Os? Is that what she said? That's genius. Say it again.
now on so that they are safe from P3DOs. Exactly.
P3DOs? I love that. That's so everybody's so creative. P3DOs? Ooh. We're adding that to the list. Wow. I love that. P3DOs? That's amazing. Wow. I think I'm in love with Riley. I'm going to say it.
Exactly. Like, she's trying to paint this as parents dressing their kids in pink and blue as predatory when it's not. And FYI, I just want to point out, a lot of people that are criticizing this don't agree with having to uphold specific gender roles, and they also agree that gender and sex are not the same. So these aren't like conservatives that are like, oh, there's only two genders, male and female. Like, no, these are people that agree with the concept that gender and sex are not the same thing, who also agree that having to uphold certain gender roles, especially through, your personal style and appearance, is toxic. They agree with that. I think the criticism here is pretty valid, honestly. Like, gender and sex are not the same. Yes, I agree with that. I just really don't think parents are color coding their children's clothes to signal to people what private parts they have. I think most parents are just kind of used to upholding traditional gender rules when it comes to clothing and appearance. I really think that's as deep as it goes. But also, I'm sorry, like, in my personal opinion, I don't know of many kids who exclusively wear pink and blue, right? Like there's plenty of girls' clothes that I've seen that are red and yellow and orange and blue. I mean, sure, like, maybe less boys wear pink, like, okay, sure, maybe, but even so, I do feel like if you were to go into like the average children's classroom in a school, you're gonna see a variety of different colors of clothing with the children. So yeah, overall, a bit odd, a bit bizarre of a take in
my ideal socialist utopia, we kill anyone who doesn't wear the color pink or blue, because I have to know what gender they are upon first glance. It's the law.
Opinion, but let me know if you guys feel the same or not, because I don't really know if this is a common mentality. Okay, so then we get to May. This is where it gets very interesting, because Anastasia starts posting quite a bit of content related to patriarchy and feminism. And more specifically,
oh yeah, this was her MRA arc, you guys. This is beautiful. Everybody lock in.
She's kind of starting to enter like a men's right activist era.
Riley, dude, you guys don't believe me, but I really did not pre-watch this video. I swear to God. I swear on my fucking life, I did not pre-watch this video. This is crazy.
May 5th, she told on herself again, of course, saying cis women make false allegations.
The really harsh truth that nobody wants to admit is that cis women making accusations has and continues to reinforce the patriarchy and many other hierarchies present in our country.
Comments did not disappoint, thankfully. I'm actually surprised she left most of these up. They're calling her right out. Okay, so this is when it starts to enter the men's right activist territory. So there's a few posts like this. I'm just going to play a few of them in a row, and then I'll give you my response.
Hey, Sweet Pea, so blaming men for a system that they were born into makes as much sense as blaming women for a system that they were born into. And if you think that it is solely men holding up the patriarchy...
She's powering up for her white right sarc, because she's going to be like, I literally have never owned slaves. I don't know why everybody's mad at me. I have never owned a single slave. So why should I suffer for the sins of my fathers? That's what we're gearing up for. I can feel us powering up for this.
You literally have not met very many women, okay? There's a huge number of women who benefit from the patriarchy and uphold it, on their children, right? And on top of that, blaming men for their lower life expectancy and blaming men for their mental health crisis is certainly definitely making them worse and not making them want to fight the patriarchy. If
her and Not So Erudite would get along so well together.
You refuse to let men view themselves as victims of the patriarchy, why on earth do you think that they would ever help you dismantle it? Hey, Sweet Pea, so if you consider yourself a feminist or an egalitarian or in any way you're fighting for liberation or liberation in general, why on earth would you position yourself as an enemy to half of people? And by half of people, I mean men. It doesn't make any sense. You should position yourself as an enemy to power, an enemy to capital, an enemy to the rich.
I love this. I love this. There's no, there's no white power versus black power. There's only working class power against capitalist power. She gets all of her takes from like communist memes, which is actually really funny because she has such a surface level engagement with all of these topics. It's actually quite funny because intersectionality is like a core principle of like a leftist thought. And intersectionality is something that plays a really heavy role in kind of analyzing the way that different power structures like keep people marginalized with it's like I'm not going to talk about my politics, but this is a very class reductionist take. But it's like if you just Googled what the definition of class reductionism is, and then you made it your entire personality. Like you didn't do any more reading on this subject. You literally just like AI, chat GPT'd what is class reductionism, and then you built your entire personality around it for a few weeks.
Elderly, the people who actually have the power. Men are half of people, and a significant portion of them didn't do anything to build the world because they're either too young, too poor, or just too separated from society. If you are making half of people your enemy, when there is no reason to make half of people your enemy, right? Like, men's interests would be served by dismantling the patriarchy. It would help their mental health. It would help their suicide rate. So if men want to talk about men's mental health, good. Help them do it correctly. Point out that the reason they feel so alone and the reason they feel such an unbearable burden
is because women don't fuck them enough. Say it. Say it, Lexity. Say it. Say it, Bella.
All of the time is because of the patriarchy. Yeah? Why on earth would you willingly position yourself as an enemy to half of people if you are actually genuinely trying to change anything? That doesn't make sense. They should be your friends and allies because
Stupid
they are.
women.
Now, if you go to most of these posts, comments have been completely disabled, and it's not hard to understand why. Here's the thing. Yes,
Idiot
patriarchy does negatively affect men as well as women, even if men don't really realize it. That said, it's still a system created by men that very much benefits men. Obviously, much more so.
Well, yeah, the question is like, who is it created to benefit, and do people still reap the benefit of that right now? Right? That is more so the question. It's like, yes, you did not build the system per se, but you are opposed to dismantling the system because you actively benefit from it. So that's kind of like the argument that's made. Like, obviously, she wouldn't know that, but I love people that watch like a TikTok about like Karl Marx, and then they're like, oh my God, that's me. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Than women, right? Like, women mostly do not benefit from it unless they have like pretty privilege, and even then they can only benefit so much. Plus the whole, men's mental health and male loneliness epidemic. Like, okay, I get it, but you're saying that women are just as responsible for upholding the patriarchy and that we are positioning ourselves as the enemy against men, when in reality men are actively trying to take away our ability to make choices for ourselves so that we can go back to a time.
She's not wrong. The other thing too that I do like to point out, and this is true, and if you disagree with me, you're wrong and stupid. There are women that uphold patriarchy. They don't necessarily directly benefit from it, i.e., pick-me girls. They don't even really necessarily benefit from patriarchy at all. But they will uphold it, right? That like men who don't fit into this masculine category of, traditional masculinity, they're not man enough, they're bitches, they're pussies, they're little babies, whatever the fuck. Or even women that will target other women who step out of line of the patriarchal expectation of what it means to be a woman. You're too butch. Your boobs are too small, your hair is too short, you're too ugly, you're too fat, you're not skinny enough, you're not hot enough, you don't want to raise a family, you don't want to be a mom. There are certainly women that enforce patriarchy, but I do not believe that it's possible necessarily I'm sure that you could convince me of like, a couple of like offhand examples, but generally speaking, women don't benefit from patriarchy a la pick-me's, because a la pick-me's are the people that like spend all of their time upholding and maintaining patriarchy, but they get no benefit from it because pick-me's are universally disliked, usually by their own communities, and they're only liked by a very small subsection of the opposing community. So, for example, people like think of Just Pearly Things. Women hate Just Pearly Things because she hates women, like crazy, right? But only a very select portion of men like Just Pearly Things. The rest of them are like, she's annoying, she's a grifter, she's fat, she's not pretty enough, she's too tall, whatever it may be. You're only appealing to such a small demographic of like the opposing side that you're, choosing to grift for essentially, that you don't gain a benefit from appealing to it. So you can even use like the trans grifter archetype, where it's like, think of like Blair White. Generally speaking, Blair White is like disliked by the trans community. They just don't like her because she's very self-interested. She doesn't really give a fuck about other trans people, And then look at the side that she's appealing to. She is appealing to conservative values. There's only a small portion of conservatives that actually like Blair White and are like, oh, I totally agree with what she's saying, blah, blah, blah. That's very small, right? It's a percentage of people that are actually agreeable to her takes and shit like that. So it's like, yes, you could say Blair White is contributing to, conservative values. Is she benefiting from them? No, she is not. She is not. She is not. Because if they were to have their way with conservative values, she wouldn't be trans, right? What did Lauren Witzke say to her? Notoriously, grow out your mustache and tell everybody to stop making the same mistake that you did. That's what Lauren said to her face on a debate. Same thing for women who are pick bees for men's causes like Just Pearly Things. If there was, the ideal patriarchy, the way that Just Pearly Things advocates for, Just Pearly Things would be a cat lady that died alone because she does not appeal to the male gaze. She's not conventionally attractive, and she's somebody that doesn't have anything to bring to the table as far as like a quote unquote good woman. She doesn't cook, she doesn't clean, she has a college degree. She's not like a meek woman that stays at home. She's tall as fuck. She's pretty fucking manly. She's very aggressive verbally. Like if she were to live under the system of patriarchy, she would not benefit from it at all. So I agree that there are women that contribute to patriarchy, but I do not think that it's possible, generally speaking, for women to directly benefit from patriarchy because they are appealing to such a niche minority of people that would ever agree with their sentiments in reinforcing the patriarchy.
Where women are entirely reliant on men. Men are not interested in dismantling the patriarchy. Men are interested in upholding it. Yes, a lot of men unfortunately take their lives, and men's mental health is a real issue. But what you're not understanding, Anastasia, is that men blame those issues on us. They blame it on us being able to work, to have fair wages, to be able to vote, to be able to have reproductive rights. We had finally gotten to a place where women not only no longer had to rely on men for survival, but in a lot of households are actually out-earning the men. You do understand there's a reason why Roe versus Wade was overturned, right?
Women also outperform men at college, by the way. That's something that's interesting as well. Women are outperforming men in college, and women are also, they're kind of like destroying the inequity between men and women in academic fields. So men are actually falling quite behind. Just fun fact.
The government is not only trying to get rid of abortion access, they're also trying to get rid of most forms of birth control. And no, it's not because they're pro-life. It's because if women have no control over their bodies and their reproductive rights, they are forced to rely on men for survival. Men do not want to align themselves with us and dismantle the patriarchy, Anastasia. They want to uphold the patriarchy and retreat back to a time where women were entirely subservient to men. Back when America was great. You sit here and you say, why are you positioning yourself against men instead of the people in power? Who do you think the people in power are, Anastasia? Who do you think the people in power are? Who? Because if more women were in power, we probably wouldn't.
I would be scared to ask her that question. I wonder what she thinks about conspiracy theories about the J-boys. Has anybody ever asked her about that? I bet she has some crazy shit to say about the conspiracy theories about the J-boys. I bet that she does.
Not be in this position. So many women are now just refusing to sleep with men following the election because they know that they will no longer have reproductive rights. And, for the ignorant men that will be like, oh.
As Cardi B once said, broke boys don't deserve no pussy. And then everybody said, I know that's right. Very important. Write that down.
Oh, well, there's birth control. No, asshole, they're actually trying to take that away too. Even if you look at social media right now, it's not hard to see that men feel far more emboldened to be outright misogynistic, to degrade women, to threaten them, to assault them, especially following this election and everything that has transpired. We choose the bear every single time. Every single time. So yes, Anya, they are the enemy, actually, they are. And you're asking women to do this in a time—
Yeah, true, I hate all men, let's go.
I'm like this, where day by day it gets increasingly more dangerous for women because of men. You look like an absolute clown, Anastasia. You are, like, this is so incredible.
She's literally just asking questions. She's like, isn't it kind of weird, that so many people that consolidate all the wealth just happen to be of a certain demographic? I'm just asking questions, guys. I bet she has some really interesting thoughts and feelings about the J-boy conspiracies.
Incredibly tone deaf, and you deserve to get clowned on for this. You do. I can't harp on this subject for too long or else I'll just get really angry, so let's just move on. May 13th posted a reel about love bombing.
Hey, sweet pea, so are they love bombing you, or are you just not used to people genuinely showing you affection? Because it isn't love bombing for people to just want to display how much they like you and take care of you. It's only love bombing if they strategically deny you affection after getting you used to it in order to get you to do things.
No, it actually is love bombing when it's you, Anastasia. It is. You love bomb and emotionally manipulate your victims before you terrorize and abuse them. On May 16th, she makes a post about how her partner is fat, and I only noted this because the first 4 top comments, which have thousands of likes, are asking if her partner knows that she uses an essays women. Which is a good question, actually. Does she know? I have a very difficult time believing that she doesn't know, since she's the one moderating your live streams where she will have to filter out comments calling you out for being a and essaying people. And if it is true that she has a kid, I hope to God, a God that I don't believe in, that kid is not being exposed to you, because you will literally give that child PTSD, just like you gave your victims PTSD. And in hindsight, with everything that's happened recently, I really do hope that that child is okay and safe, if they exist. May 20th, she makes an incredibly self-unaware—
Also true. Have we considered that maybe she's lying about all of this? True. Maybe maybe her girlfriend just goes to a different school, and that's why we have never seen her. It's possible.
Hey, sweet pea, so I didn't know that this needed to be said, but you can do things after work. Like, I don't care if you have work. I still want to hang out. I don't know why it's so difficult for me to find anyone who wants to go out of their way at all to, like make plans with me.
Girl, have you ever had a real fucking job? When I'm all done for the day, it's time to vegetate, okay? I'm not trying to go on a manic pixie dream girl fucking rape van extravaganza to the beach and shit. Sorry, bitch. You could wait. You can schedule in advance. You can send me like a Google Calendar invite or something if you want to do that. I'm not just gonna like drop everything that I'm doing to go and crash the fuck out with you in the middle of the day.
Because, like, I'm not particular about what we do. We could go to a park, we could go to dinner, we could go grocery shopping. I have no idea why it is so difficult for me to find adult humans who make plans and then execute them the day that they plan them. Like, why is that unusual? I do that all the time.
Girl, you don't even have a job. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
what are you talking about? What?
I did not pre-watch. I did not pre-watch. I did not. You have to believe me. You have to believe me. I swear to God, you guys.
Don't people want to hang out with me after work? Says the full-time content creator who does nothing all day except post gas
so
takes and it's women. When I was still working an in-person job, the very last thing I wanted to do after an 11-hour shift with what very little time I had to myself before I had to go in and do it the next day is hang out with people after my shift. And some people have to work upwards of 60 hours a week just to make ends meet in this economy. So, you know, I'm gonna go take a shot in the dark and say that you probably never worked a full-time job in your life, Anastasia. Like, I can't even imagine you being able to uphold a part-time job, honestly. Like, you just don't have the coping skills to be able to deal with the challenges that come with having a job and dealing with customers. Like, you don't possess those skills. So I truly cannot imagine you ever actually worked a job or held down a job in your life. And I think if you did have a job in the past, you would be able to understand why people wouldn't want to spend what little free time they have after work with you to listen to you spew brain rot for hours. Okay, so we're gonna just jump ahead because honestly, most of her posts between now and like the end of June are pretty redundant. Like, you know, she's posting the same stuff about, oh, men are victims, don't believe cis women when they make allegations, the, you know, same old bullshit that I really don't have the patience for. So then we get to June 21st. Where Anastasia announces that she is engaged. She also announces that she's polyamorous, which, you know, whatever, we already knew that, but then says monogamy is the same as ownership.
Hey, sweet pea, so I'm polyamorous and engaged, and if you can't imagine me wanting to sleep with other people without it meaning I love my partner less, then you don't have a definition of love outside of ownership. Like, I'm not saying monogamous relationships are wrong, I'm saying you should be able to imagine a definition of love that isn't owning them, because that's weird.
And she disabled...
Exclusivity is not ownership. Like, there is, you know, you have, like, exclusive relationships with people in your life. Like, you have a friend that likes this thing. That is, like, kind of an exclusive thing. Monogamous relationships are not ownership. They're exclusive. It means that this is something that is special and unique for us. The same way that, like, if you have, like, a special pet name for one of your partners, that is an exclusive relationship. It is not ownership of that word or of that name. It is an exclusive thing that you share with one person. That's what that means, but...
Bold comments on this one, too.
Epistemology or
but
whatever.
guess what? This engagement didn't last very long.
No,
in fact,
like
it lasted
a
a mere few days before it all fell apart, which was inevitable and honestly not surprising in the slightest. But this is when it actually gets really dark, because there were some live stream clips that were taken following the whole ending of the engagement, where Anastasia kind of cryptically explains what took place and why things fell apart.
Like she met me. She met me. And who I was a person who talked about their life on the internet, right? That's who I was. I'm still that. She's mad at me for being who I am, which is like, off, actually, like, because you fucking left me after proposing.
I know that this might be allergy spray, so that Lexity is also somebody that I believe that I would make a strong argument for being on stimulants while on stream. If you have like a ring light, like let's say I have a light that I put right here. If I look directly into it, my pupils are going to constrict very smallly because my eyes are taking in a lot of light. So your pupils get smaller the more exposed to light they are, so you don't go blind basically. When you take stimulants, meth, coke, crack, molly, ecstasy, anything like that that's like an upper, quote unquote, your pupils will dilate and they will not constrict with exposure to light, okay? So there have been videos of her where she is like staring into a fucking ring light and her pupils are this fucking big. So willing to put good hard money on the fact that we are high a lot of the time. Something that is really interesting, in case you didn't know, a lot of people that are addicts, that are either addicted to cocaine or crack, they will choose to dilute either crystal shard of crack, or they will take cocaine and they will dilute it in water and they shoot it up their nose like that. Because then you can do it in public. It's like hitting like a vape, you know, in public. Like everybody's like, oh, you're just vaping, but maybe it's like a weed cart. People do this. This is like a thing that addicts do. So I'm willing to offer the benefit of the doubt here. Perhaps this is just like a nasal decongestant. Like the only thing that your nose is supposed to be used for, which is breathing and nasal decongestants. Okay, don't blow shit up your nose, you guys. It's bad for you. You're gonna deviate your septum, and then you're not gonna have a fucking face anymore when they have to cut your nose off. But nonetheless, that is not not uncommon for hardcore drug users to do. Just mind you, and again, if we're looking into the camera with a fucking ring light in front of it and your pupils are not constricting with exposure to light, you are on something.
You know, because she cannot communicate her needs, ever.
Look at her fucking eyes.
She doesn't like me being online? No, she doesn't like me being online. She specifically doesn't like me doing this, which means talking about my life at all, because it involves her, and she's a narcissist. So anytime
pot meat kettle,
anything makes her feel bad about herself, she blames me entirely instead of accepting any responsibility, even though nobody here knows who the she is. Do you know who she is? Do you know who she is? No, you don't. You don't know who she is. So like,
you don't know.
And do you know how many times I've tried to block her? I blocked her. I blocked her entire family. Like, and I never say any specifics about her. And yeah, that is who I was when we met. Why the f did you think I was going to be a different person? Why did you think I was going to be a different person?
Like, you can just kind of see her eyes she looks geeked.
Yeah, if you know someone talks about their life and you don't online and you don't want to be talked about, don't get into that person's life. If you know someone who talks about everything in their life online, who talks about everything online, and you don't want to be talked about online, don't get into that person's life. Pretty basic stuff, actually. You know, in the same way that if you don't want a girlfriend who's a star, don't date stars.
But what people noticed about this live stream is that
also, you know what people love to do on stimulants? They love to yap. Conveniently, that's how we do. Like, keep me away from people that are on stimulants because I do not have the bandwidth to talk about, like, your entire life story. I don't. Leave me alone. So the signs are adding up, right? The signs are adding up.
while Anastasia is talking about what happened, someone comments in the live stream chat and makes some very alarming allegations. They allege that Anastasia lunged on top of them, called them a and spit in their face. Remember earlier where I mentioned how Anastasia had done that spitting motion towards Marcella, the first—
Intensive purposes, no. Everybody boo intensive porpoises right now. Witness, please. Intensive porpoises, no. You can do better.
Person that came forward. Yeah, I think this is a pattern of behavior. And FYI, I said this in my previous video, but in a lot of states, it's actually considered assault to spit on someone. And as
it's felonious assault because it's like you can give people diseases and shit.
So in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where Anastasia resides currently, it is considered assault and battery to spit in someone's face. And there is another comment from this person stating Anastasia had been drinking, which is unsurprising because, as I said before, she is an alcoholic. Now, we don't technically know who this person is, but there is quite a bit of speculation that this may be Anastasia's partner, Sarah. And let's be real, all signs point to that likely being the case. It would be extremely odd for, like, just a random person to make allegations like that, especially when Anastasia is literally talking about their relationship struggles. And on top of that, we know that Sarah moderates her live stream, so the fact that this comment went through likely means that the chat was not being moderated, which even more so supports the argument that this is Anna's partner. But I think the most overwhelming piece of evidence that supports this possibility is Anastasia's recent arrest. Yes, she was arrested. And guess what the sweetie was arrested for? Just take a guess. I'll give you a few seconds.
Assault on a pregnant woman and resisting arrest, assaulting a police officer.
You ready? You ready for it? Domestic assault and battery of a pregnant woman and resisting arrest. The way that my jaw dropped on the floor when I saw this, it's not that I'm surprised. Like, the signs were there 100%, and, you know, it was only a matter of time before something like this happened. But a pregnant woman, assault and battery of a pregnant woman. So she was booked in the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office on July 8th and was released on bail on the 10th, so she's out currently. Which is roaming the streets. And once again, many people have speculated that this may be Anastasia's partner, Sarah, who was the victim of these. It is domestic battery and assault, which would make it a case of DV. And considering, you know, what we believe to be Sarah in the live stream chat, it would make a lot of sense. In all fairness, Anastasia did state that she was polyamorous and sleeping with other people, so it is also possible that this could just be another partner of hers. We don't have enough information currently to verify if that's actually the case. And another thing I wonder too is perhaps maybe this was the result of Anastasia spitting in Sarah's face. As again, it is considered assault and battery to spit in someone's face in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I do hope that this was the case, and not that spitting on someone is okay, but at least if that was the scenario, then we know that at least her and the child are okay and safe from harm and not physically injured, likely. But again, we really don't know. This literally just happened 2 days prior to me filming this video. And Anastasia has been completely radio silent on all of her social media since the beginning of July.
Where they, like, physically won't let you do the thing that they're asking you to do, and because you didn't do the thing that you're physically unable to do, they'll charge you with resisting arrest. You should never trust resisting arrest as a legitimate charge, because it is never a legitimate charge.
Oh, that's not true. That's not true at all. ACAB. I think that people that like try to fight the police, they should be automatically enrolled in like the running for the Darwin Awards. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, yeah, dude, I gotta be honest with you guys. ACAB, I get it. As soon as there's some fucking idiot that is like, I don't need a driver's license to drive a car. Actually, I'm not driving, I'm traveling. I'm like, tase that bitch. Enough. Get out the window buster, shatter that shit, tase him, drag him out of the car, back the blue, baby. Like, yeah, if you're assaulting somebody and the cops try to get you off of them, like assuming that, you know, there was like an active domestic violence situation going on and the cops are like, break it up, and then you like swing on the fucking cop, or you're like trying to run away, or you're like trying to kick the cops off of you, that is resisting arrest. Yes, that is a legitimate charge. You're trying to get out of getting in trouble. Hello? Love a sovereign citizen arrest video. It's like my guilty pleasure is sovereign citizen arrest videos. Fun. Like if you're dumb enough to fight the cops, congratulations, you're going to jail, idiot. Or it's like people that like pull out guns on cops and shit like that. It's like, yeah, you're obviously gonna get shot. Yeah, you're certainly gonna get shot if that's the case. Duh. Oh my god, the people that have a state monopoly on violence and basically total immunity. Like these are people that have a monopoly on violence. They have qualified immunity. Even if they like break your arm or something, they're not going to get fucking fired. You might get some money out of it, but nothing's going to happen to them. Why would you pick that person to fight? It's like being like a 4'11" little birthday boy, and you see like a 6'4", like fucking 300-pound strong man at the bar, and you're like, that's who I want to fight. It's like, how fucking dumb are you? Really? That's what, yeah, oh, good idea. That's gonna end really well for you.
Not sure what you mean. There were no charges.
I mean, there were charges. There literally were charges.
So we're honestly
like, she'd just be lying. She's like, I was never charged. It's like, you were literally arrested. The arrest records are public.
Gonna have to wait and see if more information comes out. I did see a lot of people in the Reddit talking about possibly obtaining the body cam footage, and I will say I would be very interested in that, especially.
That would be fucking awesome, you guys. If there was body cam footage, oh my god, I love a body cam footage video. I love them because I'm watching the body cam footage and I'm like, just tase him. Hit him with the chair!
Knowing that the other charge she got was resisting arrest. If anyone knows how I would go about obtaining that material and could point me in the right direction, that would be super, super helpful. Look, she is escalating. She is escalating, and she is doing so very quickly. In just less than 6 months, she went from verbally and emotionally abusing Marcella to essaying Marcy and Haley, and now domestic assault and battery of a pregnant woman who is likely to be her current partner, Sarah. If this
yeah, she's gonna end up killing somebody.
Continues to escalate, this is going to have a deadly outcome. I don't want to come on here and say I told
I swear I didn't pre-watch. This is crazy. I'm never beating the allegations.
you so. That is not appropriate at all. There's a time and place. This is not the time and place for that. But to all the people who continued to support Anastasia after Marcella and Marcy and Haley all came forward, I just want to ask, do you believe them now? Is this enough for you now? Is this what it takes for you to open your fucking eyes? I realize a lot of people just didn't know. I get that, but a lot of people did. A lot of people watched my videos. A lot of them did. I mean, not like millions of people, don't get me wrong, but I'm not saying those videos got millions of views, but when you take into
I don't consent to being arrested, officer. That's gonna go really well.
consideration that Anastasia's largest platform has over 300,000 followers, and between my two videos, between both of them, the views collectively were over 300,000, that still reached a pretty wide audience of people. A lot of people knew and still chose to support her. A lot of people blamed the victims and still attempted to minimize her actions. A lot of people bought into the cis woman making false allegations against a trans person bullshit. I just hope that this is enough now. I just hope that this is enough for you all now. I just hope that we can all mutually, collectively, universally agree that this person needs to be deplatformed. I just made a video about Peach Aura, and as much as I kind of despise her actions, especially in regards to the racism and the way she misrepresents the BPD community, it absolutely baffles me how quick people were to completely cancel Peach Aura and call for her deplatforming, but yet for months, Anastasia is still able to continue to grow online despite the public allegations with proof. And now it's undeniable. Now it's irrefutable, right? Like there is no way to defend this. How are you going to sit here and defend this sweet pea against domestic assault and battery of a pregnant woman? How are you going to do it?
I mean, have you considered that the fetus had bad vibes? Just kidding. This is a joke. This is my just kidding heart.
How are you going to do it? You can't. You can't. And I'm sorry, but look at this smirk on Anastasia's face right here. And I know there's gonna be those comments of people like, oh, she's not smirking, you're misrepresenting her, you're just trying to dogpile on her. First of all, shut your bitch ass up, because that's a fucking smirk. That is a smirk.
Get her! Yes, Riley! Yes! Unlimited power! Fuck this bitch. Yes, bring the energy, bring the heat.
This is a smirk. She is proud. She has no shame. This is fucking evil. This is evil. Anastasia, Anyathina, Lexity is a monster who needs to be deplatformed before she eventually kills somebody. I truly hope that day never comes. I do. And to everyone out there, I just want to say, know the signs. Know the warning signs. This is a cautionary tale right here. The warning signs were always there. They were always there. Abusive behavior doesn't make me an abuser. The signs were there. If you see these,
it's, you know, just to loosely compare this to a once famous Austrian painter, it's kind of like if anybody has ever actually read Mein Kampf, it's like it's very obvious what was going on. Like, it literally, it's like, yeah, dude, I don't know, it's kind of weird that, like, animals, like, you know, they, like, dogs, like, you know, pugs only, you know, breed with pugs. That's, like, super weird that, like, humans are, like, the only, like, creatures that don't do that. That's so weird, isn't it? Anyway, wouldn't it just be so cool if we just got, like, rid of everybody that did that? That's so weird. Anyway, thanks for reading my book, guys. And then everybody was like, oh, he's doing what? It's like, did you read the book? Did you? It's literally like a play-by-play of what was about to happen. It's like, if you can watch Lexity's behavior, you can see that this is a person that is deeply unwell, deeply reactive, deeply volatile, deeply aggressive, very scary, very controlling, very manipulative, and somebody who is not afraid to like I've said this before and I mean it so seriously. If you believe me when I say this, believe me when I say this, if somebody will break shit in your presence, that person will hit you. So if you have a partner or a friend or whatever the fuck that like, if they get pissed at you and they start like punching the wall, kicking the drywall, breaking things, throwing things, like trashing the house and shit, that person will put hands on you. They will put their hands on you. End of discussion. It's not if, it is when. They are going to put their hands on you. Believe people when they show you who they are. If somebody gets in your fucking face and they're screaming at you, if they're posturing you, if they're trying to physically intimidate you or threaten you, they will put their fucking hands on you. They will. Okay? All of the signs were there. Like, literally no shit. Somebody crashing out like that comfortably enough on camera is not afraid to fucking put their hands on somebody, and you know that from watching it. And anybody who believes the stupid bullshit words like, oh, she's just really emotional. You can be deeply emotional and deeply reactive without destroying property or hurting other people physically. That's actually completely possible. This bitch is fucking crazy, and Riley is 100% correct. She is going to seriously hurt or kill someone because her anger issues are out of fucking control. And it's not cute, and it's not funny. It's not like when a little kid throws a temper tantrum and you're like, oh, he's so funny, like throwing his Legos, like, oh, you're so tough. No, this is like a 6'2" grown-ass fucking person that is big, that is scary, that is potentially high, that has a history of violence, and does not give a fuck about the boundaries of others and has no problem lying to people's faces when they ask about it. This is like genuinely a dangerous person. This is 100% correct.
these behaviors, even to a small degree, in any of your own situations, get out now. Get out now and save yourself, because it will escalate. It will not get better. It will only get worse, and you may lose your life as a result. Well, you guys, that's all I got for you.
Thank you, Riley. Wow. Never beating the I pre-watched this video allegations, because I did not. Property destruction is a form of physical intimidation, and if they're willing to destroy your things to try to manipulate your emotions to get the upper hand in a conversation, when that no longer works, they will result to being destructive and aggressive towards you. It is a quick 1, 2, 3. And as mentioned in chat, this is 100% true. If somebody ever chokes you, that person will kill you. Being choked by your partner is a #1 predictor for being killed in a domestic violence incident, because realistically, let's be super real, I don't think, like, allow me to phrase this, like, it's easy to accidentally kill somebody that way. You know, it, like, obviously, I would say that probably a lot of people that are in like domestic violence situations, they probably don't have the intention to kill someone. It's probably like, I just want to beat this bitch up, like I'm super pissed. They probably don't want to kill that person. I'm sure that there are instances where that has happened. But the lethality of grabbing somebody's neck, you can crush their windpipe, you know, you can hurt their neck and cause permanent damage. Being strangled is actually a traumatic brain injury because you are starving your brain of oxygen that actually can super mega fuck up your brain. If somebody is willing to put their hands around your neck, it exponentially increases your likelihood of dying due to domestic violence. Like, that is like the end of the line. That is like, if somebody ever fucking puts their hands around your neck, they put you in a chokehold, anything like that, run the fuck away. Run the fuck away. Because all it takes is a little bit too much pressure and you're dead. All it takes is grabbing you the wrong way a little bit too hard and you're dead. It's not like, oh, I got punched in the stomach and it, it hurt my stomach or whatever. Also not appropriate, okay? Don't let people put their hands on you. That's not appropriate. But like, it is so easy to accidentally kill somebody fucking around with like their airway and shit. That is very dangerous. Do not let people do that. That is like the number one thing. That is like the number one thing, okay? Do not ever let that happen. Obviously, if people want to hit you, you shouldn't be in that relationship, period, right? Domestic violence is not cool, okay? It's not very cash money at all, guys. We do not like domestic violence. But if for whatever reason you find yourself in this situation, he's going to change. He loves me. He says, I'm sorry, baby. He says he's never going to do it again. He only does it when he's drinking, blah, 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 blah. Whatever excuse it may be. And everybody, is ready to leave when they're ready to leave. I am not God. I can't control other people's actions. But even if you are not ready to leave a situation where there is domestic violence, as soon as that motherfucker puts their hands on your neck, you leave. End of discussion. They're not going to change, and in the process of even attempting to change, they're going to kill you on accident. Or maybe on purpose. You never know. But don't let people do that to you. That's crazy. That's crazy. This bitch is going to kill somebody. 100%. 100%. You guys thought Zizians were bad, but... You guys thought that Zizians were bad. Get ready for our new ascending BPD girly.